Hi, this is Karen. I'm with InspiredByGraham.com. Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to make a very fun snowman card. It is using the Snow Wonder stamp set from Stampin' Up. That is a cling stamp set, and this is actually kind of a fun fold. We're using the Feels Like Frost Designer Series paper for the front of the card, and it's attached to the Night of Navy on the back side, and it simply opens up like this. And I've decorated the envelope with the snowflakes that come in the Snow Wonders cling stamp set. So let's take a look at that one. It's got some really nice sentiments that are kind of in a fancy font. We've got some trees here that are just covered in snow. Here's the snowman we're going to be using today, the snowflakes we're going to use, and this really fun wreath. So great set if you like fancy fonts and lots of fun with a snowman. All right, the dies here are the Celebration dies labels. These are on sale for $17.50 on the holiday extravaganza sale. So I've already die cut these two pieces here. So we've done that. Our ink of choice is Memento Black because we'll be using blends, and our Night of Navy for the inside and the snowflakes. All right, so let's get started here. I've got my kit right over here. This is a card that I had my in-person, I had 10 people attend my in-person class last Saturday, and this was the #1 card they got to choose to make. So that was really fun. I thought I'd bring it to you guys too. I thought you might like to make it as well. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to mount the snowman. I have mine on a E-block. All right, so when I tell people when they use the Memento Black, I like to go ink pad to the stamp because it's a different type of ink pad than your normal classic Stampin' Up pad. All right, so I'm just kind of rubbing it right on, giving it good pressure. And this is a 3D stamp, so it's very dimensional, and it's a lot of fun, like I said. So we're just going to stamp this right down on that Celebration Dies label. Fits perfectly. And I just kind of move my fingers around because it is a larger stamp, just to get that good image. And there he is. He's so fun, right? Okay, so while Snowman is drying, we'll set him aside here, and we can finish up our stamping for the inside panel and the envelope. So I've got my Night of Navy ink, and we're going to stamp up Christmas wishes and joyful greetings. Snowman always give us some joyful greetings. We'll stamp that right there. Now to add a little bit, we're going to take that the snowflakes there, and I'm going to stamp some right up in the upper corner there, and then I'll stamp some down in the lower corner as well. And then we can't forget about our medium Whisper White envelopes to match. Let's add about 3, just like that. All right, so that is all we need to do for stamping. Now we need to color. So I've got to grab some scrap paper from my drawer. And when you're coloring blends, you definitely need something underneath your paper because the ink does bleed through. So I'm going to start. I don't color much on camera, so thankfully this is a small piece. What I like to do is I just kind of, on this scarf, I'm going with a dark Night of Navy. Night of Navy is the classic ink that I'm using are used to stamp the greetings. So I'm just kind of going around the edge here with the dark, and then I'm just going to add a little bit where there might be some shading. Okay, and I'm going to leave the middle open, and I'm just going to do some wispy like strokes right there. And then up here, I'm going to go right under his chin and leave that section in the middle for the light blends. Now I'm going to repeat that kind of same process on his little cap or hat, whatever you might want to call it, and just get a little bit of shading right there, and then up around the holly there. Okay, so we're done with the dark, and now I'm going to bring in the lighter Night of Navy blends, and I'm just going to fill in right over this and then here as well. And you can kind of see the shading. I'm going to switch over to the fine point just to get up in here because it's very small space. All right, so you can kind of see, let me just bring it closer, the shading. So I've got the darker and the lighter, the dark on the edges and the lighter in the middle. So next thing I want to do is I want to color his nose, and I've got the dark Calypso Coral, and we're just going to color it right down there. Again, I'm using the fine point. Go over it a couple of times so it gets a little dark. Then I'm going to take my Cherry Cobbler dark, and I'm just going to color in those berries. And then I'm going to color the leaves. Okay, and then finally, let's give his arms, the tree branches, a little bit of color too. And I'm going to choose Crumb Cake. I'm just going to go over, just like that. Okay, now the final touch, I'm going to add some Wink of Stella to the snowman's face. And this is just going to add a little bit of glitter so it does look like the snow is gleaming. Okay, so we're just going to cover him up just like this, and I'll try to bring it to the camera a little bit. And then underneath him too, there's snow, so let's just cover that up with some Wink of Stella. And let's see if you guys can see it. Trust me, it's there. If you can't see it, it just looks really nice. All right, so now all we need to do is assemble our card. So while he's drawing, let's work on some other things. I need to bring in my Stampin' trimmer. We're using the Feels Like Frost Designer Series paper. It's a 6x6 paper pack, and this is also on sale. And I forgot to check the price on it, but I'm sure it's like super great deal. So I need to cut this down, and it needs to be cut down to 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. So I'm just going to cut this off, and I'm cutting the area that has more of that design, and then 5 1/4. Just cut the sky portion off of that. Okay, you're going to save this for your envelope flap, so you're really only wasting about 1 inch of paper. All right, so we've got this. Let's put our inside panel on first. So this is a 4 by 5 1/4 Whisper White that we did stamp on, and I need my seal here. Okay. And I also want my silicone mat, which is under all my blocks. All right, so let's get this over here. We're gonna flip it over and just add some adhesive there. Now I'm gonna add this onto a piece of Night of Navy. Get that. Just a 1/4 inch border on the top, bottom, left, and right. And the Night of Navy is cut 8 1/2 by 5 1/2, scored at 1 1/2 and 1 1/4. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to add this panel here, but you need to be very careful about where you add your adhesive, because you don't want to go over the edge and you don't want to go too far. So what I suggest doing is just running 2 lines of adhesive kind of next to each other. I don't think 1 would be good enough. I think 2 is better. All right, so now I'm just going to add this down with a 1/4 inch border. I'm trying to line it up with that Whisper White panel too, so it's all even. So now this is going to open like this, and if you open up the card, you're going to see the nice little silver foil on the inside. All right, so now Mr. Snowman hopefully is dry enough and we won't smudge him. So, and you can see where the blends did come through. We're going to add some adhesive to the back side panel. We're going to mount him on that Night of Navy celebration dies. So everything is looking great, coordinates wonderfully. And now we just need to add some more adhesive. You don't want to add it over here because that would show. So I'm just going to add 2 lines. The Stampin' Seal is so sticky that you don't really need to use as much as you normally would if you were using the snail adhesive. So I'm just going to add him right to the front, give him a good press, and there he goes. He opens up the card, right? Okay, so the final touch on the card itself are these blue adhesive backed gems. And I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to take them off here. And they come in 2 different colors, Night of Navy and Balmy Blue. So I'm just going to add 2 down to the corner here. And then I'm going to take another small one and add it way up here. So my focal point, my eyes are here, but they're also drawn to the lower left corner and the top of the right corner of the card as well. So that kind of makes me, it makes me look at the whole entire card by doing that. Okay, so finally our Whisper White envelope that we want to decorate. So here's the one we put snowflakes on. We're going to open up the back flap. We're going to add adhesive along the score line of the envelope and along the edges, just like this. And I add just a little bit there in the middle. I'm going to take that Feels Like Frost paper and I'm going to start down in the lower corner and go up along that score line and give it a nice press. And then I'm going to just take some scissors that I don't really care about if they get adhesive on them. And I'm just going to cut up along the flap. And this is going to create a nice look for your envelope flap. So don't forget to head over to my store to purchase these items. And please don't forget to use the host code if your order is $35 to $149.99. That way you'll get the free Silicone Craft Sheet in January. If your order's over that, don't worry, I'll still send you this craft sheet. All right, so let's take a look at the card one more time. Here's the envelope flap, very pretty. And then our matching card that opens up like that. All right, so for all your Stampin' Up! Needs, you can visit me at inspiredbygram.com. Thanks for watching and have a great day and be well.